Hello everyone, welcome back. This week I'm taking a look at the discovery set from Etat, Libre d'Orange, which I'm just going to try and say quickly so you don't see how badly, or hear how badly I'm pronouncing it. Stay tuned. Okay, so to start off, I'll tell you a little bit about this because the reason I got this, I was looking around at a bunch of different companies and I wanted to get their discovery sets. I don't normally like to do first impressions, and that's just because I've discovered with a lot of fragrances, I do first impressions and sometimes I don't like the first impression, but I go on to really like the fragrance a lot. So I don't trust my own first impressions, and I don't really think you should either. So that's the throat clearing you're gonna get here. These are first impressions. My taste in these might change dramatically over time if I spend more time with them. So keep that in mind when you're listening to this. I think that's pretty much the case for everyone's first impressions. I would take everything with a grain of salt. It's interesting to hear them, but I don't think it's reflective of where a person ends up with a fragrance necessarily. So for their discovery set, I think it's like $45 and you get 20 pickin' fragrances in this nice big box. And I'll throw a picture of it up on the screen. They also provide you with a little booklet that has information on all of their fragrances, not just the ones in the box, but all of them. So you get a little blurb, and they provide you as well with test strips. So this is 20 cents. I'm not gonna go through all of them in one sitting, it's a lot. I'm just gonna start rolling and see where we get. I've ordered them in the box as best I can in order of the book. So I will read you their little blurb, take a smell, tell you what I think, and move on. I'm not gonna hang out with any of them too long. Okay, this is gonna be lots of cuts because I'm gonna be bending over a bunch here. I have grabbed the first two and the booklet. The first one we are going to smell today is Hail the King. I know very little. There are 2 scents in here that I've smelled already, and there's like maybe a couple that I'm familiar with by reputation. So most of them are going to be completely never heard of them, never smelled them before. This one, Hail to the King, it says, a fragrance inspired by the fall of, quote, parenthetical, patriarchal power, because nothing can rule us, an immaculate blend of petals in overdose, clean foam and tree moss contrasted with patchouli on a milky skin of sandalwood and white woods. They classify this as a woody floral. So let's see, or Exit the King. Exit the King, not Hail to the King. It's quite the opposite. This is one that I had heard about a little bit before, but I don't know anything about, and frankly, I was expecting something different. I was kind of expecting this to be a lot soapier. I guess it is kind of soapy in a way, but not in like the traditional like Irish Spring way that you get with like some fragrances. It's like a really bright citrusy. I like this a lot. I was kind of expecting, based on the one thing I'd heard about it that was soapy, and I'm not usually into soapy fragrances. I'm gonna have to wear this one on skin. That's really nice. It's bright, a little bit sweet. I like that a lot. All right, moving on. We're not sticking around with anything too long. Next up is going to be Soul of My Soul. Is that right? Yeah, Soul of My Soul. Soul of My Soul, which they say is a woody floral gourmand, a creamy explosion where musk intermingles with iris butter and transmits the powerful balm of vanilla, followed by the friction of tonka against benzoin. Here, perfume is soul. Soul is perfume. All right, let's see if that is in fact the case. I have all these cute little boxes to open for each of these two. It's gonna add like 50% of the time, but I'm keeping them in it. All right, Soul of My Soul. No, is that right? Yeah, Soul of My Soul. I smell the iris, but again, not at all what I was expecting. Not makeup-y. This is super interesting. Okay, so the 2 fragrances that I've smelled from them so far were ones that I was like, kind of middling on, which kind of set me up to kind of not really dig the first 2 things that I smelled here, just because the other 2 I was a little soft on. But this is so interesting. It's kind of got this clean woody thing going on. You usually think of like clean watery fragrances and stuff like that, but here it's kind of like you have something wood with like cool water running over it. Man, that is so interesting. That smells so interesting. Okay, all right, well, hey, Eldo, as I'm gonna call you, that is 2 for 2 so far that I really like the smell of. Those smell really great. I wanna get to know them more. Fat Electrician. Is that what we got here? No. Yes, it is. Based on the true story of a once beautiful man who aged into a fat electrician, because while beauty fades, a good fragrance is forever. And contrary to the name, this is an ever attractive and wearable vetiver-based scent, modernized by woody vanilla and balsamic myrrh. I love vetiver. I love vetiver. So I'm excited to smell this one. I like the story behind it. I think that's pretty interesting. I'll drop that one. Yeah, that's fun. I kind of like the approach that they're taking here to really paint the picture. All right, here we go. Rock and roll Fat Electrician. And they classify this as sweet and woody. It's woody. It is sweet. This is really, I'm not trying to be like too overly hyped here, but like, okay, so this smells a little bit more classic to me. But I really, yeah, it's really kind of fun, which I think they're trying to not take anything too seriously. So maybe that's it, is I'm smelling different combinations than I'm used to. I have to say I have been going through a little bit of a crisis recently, because most designer things I'm smelling now, I'm just getting so tapped out on. They just smell so similar. Not that they smell bad, but I'm having a hard time starting to distinguish so many of the men's designer things, because they're all just these samey sorts of things. I don't know. So this is, it's got elements I've smelled before. I smell the wood, I recognize it, but it is different. Okay, it's gonna probably be easier for me at this point to start noting the ones that I'm not interested in, because so far they're all really interesting. They're all different. They all smell unique. I think that's part of it for me right now, is like, I just want to smell something different. I want to smell something unique. And I've spent a lot of time at Macy's and Nordstrom's in the last couple months, and I'm just getting tapped out on a lot of what I'm smelling there. Less so at Nordstrom's, because at least they've got like some fancy niche stuff over there that I'm a huge fan of. But okay, next up we've got a French name. Okay, so I don't know if it's probably Herman, but Herman et Mezcotes. I don't know how to speak French. This is a fresh woody scent. Call it by its name or simply by Herman. It's a dog toy. Either way, those who compliment you are going to need to know which fragrance you're wearing. A cool, sheer, woody blend that is alluring, mysterious, and unlike any other. Okay, this is clean. Let's see what you got, Herman. Smell that immediately. Oh, that is very fresh. It's very cedary. Kind of reminds me of Ben Lieberman's Silver Lake. Fresh woody. This would be a great office scent. Smells versatile. This one is probably the least interesting of the 4 so far, but that's only because I have another fragrance I really like that smells like it. Yeah, it's got that Silver Lake thing. Silver Lake is like ice cold water and a cedar box. It's a great scent. This is a fantastic scent, and I could totally see people wanting to know what it is, because anytime I wear Silver Lake, people are like, what is that? Or at least my friends. Okay, next up is one I actually have heard of before, just because I know about it. I don't know how it smells, but it's called I Am Trash. Before I read it, I'm gonna say I think that this one is made with like discarded crafting materials from other things, so it's kind of like a recycled fragrance. The most wanted scent made from the unwanted. Created in partnership with the award-winning creative network Something Paris, I Am Trash is the first luxury perfume created by upcycling, using trashed ingredients to create something truly beautiful. More specifically by exhausted rose petals, already distilled sandalwood chips, and even leftover apples from the food industry to create the most beautiful fruity, floral, and woody blend. All right. Doesn't smell like trash. Yeah, this one, again, a little bit of wood, less wood than the others. This one's a lot more fresh, like it says it is. Yeah, it's a little feminine, but really light, sweet. This would be great for the summertime. I bet you my wife would be interested in this. But I think this could go unisex. I just think my wife would actually like the smell of this, either on me or her. I like that too. All right, well, keep rolling. All right, next up is Remarkable People. You know who you are. We raise a glass in olfactive toast to those who defy convention, to the remarkable people of our free state of Orange. To you. Effervescent citrus bubbles over a celebratory pop of champagne and a spiced heart of defiant sandalwood. How is sandalwood defiant? Leave a comment below. Tell me about defiant sandalwood. Okay. You know what this reminds me of is my favorite my favorite Yankee Candle, which is a good thing because it's like the only Yankee Candle I feel like they could have actually, I always said it was the only Yankee Candle I feel like they could actually turn into a men's scent, which is the sage and citrus, which makes sense because it's sage and citrus. I didn't know that. This is all before I got into fragrances, but something in there is reminding me of that, and I love that scent. So if you know Yankee Candle Sage and Citrus and you always wanted it to be a fragrance that you could wear, I have to put this one on my list. This is scratching an itch for me that I really am into, because yeah, I used that car freshener for years. Sage and Citrus, I love that one. That's great. Okay, next up, she was an anomaly, a singularity, a difference, a woman you will simply never understand. This perfume was necessary, a subtle yet unique blend of iris, enveloped by musk and sandalwood. I keep waiting when I see them say that they have iris in it. I keep waiting to not like them, because I don't typically like iris that much. I don't think it's like terrible, but it just isn't something that I want to wear for long periods of time. So maybe this will be it. If I can find where, okay, there we go. Okay. I mean, I can smell the iris in this one a lot stronger for sure. This is reminding me a lot more of like the Dior Homme and the Givenchy's, and it smells good. The thing about iris is I actually like it. I think it actually smells good. I think I just kind of get tapped out on it after like an hour. I'm just kind of done smelling it. But I'll try wearing this one a little bit. I do like it. It's weird because this is the thing I say about first impressions. Is this the one that's most exciting to me? No. Is it one of the more wearable iris scents that I've smelled? To me, yeah, because I think they're doing something else in there. It's a little bit spicy maybe, or a little bit sweet. I mean, maybe that's from the florals, but I'll check it out. I also don't think that that's necessarily just for women. I think that's pretty unisex because probably of Dior and Givenchy, but yeah. All right, next up. You or Someone Like You. This one I've heard of, don't know anything about. The brainchild of Chandler Burr, discerning New York Times perfume critic and the author of the namesake novel You or Someone Like You, is dedicated to the main character of Burr's novel, Anne. New to Los Angeles, Anne dreams of the possibility that lingers in the crisp blue air. The fresh and uplifting aroma beckons aspiring transplants like Anne or Someone Like You. Okay. This is a fresh floral. Oh, it smells minty. Okay, that's, you know, you get tea as a note in a lot of fragrances, and I concur with it oftentimes, but I think this is the most tea I've ever smelled, because it does kind of just smell like a cup of black tea. I mean, not just, but like there's a note in there that is really making me think like a cup of black tea in a way that I'm super on board with again. What the heck? Dude, I've had this for like a month and a half and just haven't really dug into it because I was waiting to do this video, but also I was just kind of like about the one or two that I smelled before. But these are all super interesting so far, and I like these. And the thing I did fail to mention too, you can get these smaller bottles pretty affordable. So as far as attainable niche fragrances, this house is pretty attainable. That's part of the reason why I got this discovery box, because you can get their stuff for such a reasonable price. I was like, well, I should figure out which ones to get. That's good. I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, we are to what I think is gonna be the last two. That'll be half the set, and I'll do the second half in another video. That way we'll keep this from being way too long. So this one is 500 years. The story on this one is a true masterpiece. They have a special extra note for this one because so they must like this one a lot. Spicy woody floral, the story of mankind delivered to you in a perfume, an eternal trail of incense and oud, serving the majestic rose, bold spicy with insight and alliance for the skin. I think I might know what this is going to smell like, only because I've got a couple other oud rose fragrances. I love them a lot. I think a sample of one that I really like a lot is Ombre Nomad from Louis Vuitton. That is a super interesting oud and rose fragrance. Also One Mysterious Night from Dolce & Gabbana. Let's see how this one stacks up in comparison to those. Already different. This is much less of an imposing scent than like the One Mysterious Night. It's a little dustier. This is interesting. It's not as severe as Ombre Nomad maybe. Oud and Rose, I was expecting this to be a pretty heavy fragrance. I'm kind of surprised at how light this is. And I don't mean light in terms of like weak, I mean light in terms of it's not a heavy, super rich fragrance. It feels like it's dancing in the air, like it's this, man. I kind of attach to this like dusty note to it. Doesn't smell dirty. It's kind of like a book, you know, like an old book. I mean, I could tell that it's like oud and rose, like the other fragrances, but it's doing something different. I would say Mysterious Night and Ombre Nomad, you can feel a through line in those a little bit more in the shared ingredients. This feels like a distinct take on those notes. Dang it, Eldo, you guys are really doing some fun stuff here. This is cool. All right, last one for today is actually one I think that I was really looking forward to, which is called, oh, nope, that'll be the first one for next time. This one is going to be Experimentum CRUCIS. Crucio. Legend has it that an apple from a tree fell on Newton's head, and thus the theory of universal gravitation was born. But let us reimagine, instead of an apple, an enormous, fully scented, fleshy rose met with a sweet lychee, deep akigagaga wood, and earthy patchouli for a new scented path beyond light and gravity. Okay. Let's see what you got. That is quite a setup there. So this scent is the alternative to the theory of gravity. Okay. Does that mean it's going to be heavy? I don't know. What am I smelling? Wow, that's... I don't even know how to describe that. That is all over the place. That's... I mean, it feels like one scent. You know how when you smell something and you can't put your point your finger to it exactly, but it does feel like one cohesive scent. All of these smell like finished scents. None of them feel unfinished. Okay, I get the rose. Okay, I get the rose, and the reason I'm saying that is because like I'm trying to smell these, and like this reminds me of the rose that you would get in, I don't know if if any of you have ever had those like little rose candies, the pastilles, I don't know what they're called, but it's that kind of rose that feels kind of like an old-timey rose, but it doesn't smell like Chanel No. 5 or I don't know if that one is a good example exactly, but an older fragrance that may have rose in it. Doesn't Chanel No. 5 like famously not have rose in it? I don't know. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this part. It's super interesting. Again, this one to me maybe feels a little bit more feminine, but a little powdery. But I want to dig into it more. So I think part of the thing that I've heard about the description with these guys is that their stuff is a little more artistic than regular scents. And typically when someone describes fragrances as artistic, they mean not wearable. I don't think that's been the case of any of the 10 that I've smelled here so far. Those all, even the one that I was slightly soft on, I'm still super interested in to get to know more. This is a problem because I have other discovery sets from other companies, and this one I've been way more positive on, like the entire thing, than like the 5 or 6 discovery sets that I have from other ones where it's like, oh, there's like 1 or 2 that I really like a lot. These are all super interesting. Dang. Well, okay. Hey, listen, if nothing else from this video and the other one, it's worth $45 to get this because you get 20 samples. You get what is that? 40 milliliters of fragrance for 45 bucks. That's a pretty good deal. And there's so many here. And based on my experience here, you're guaranteed to find one that you like. Because I'm just halfway through. Man, that's all right. I'm gonna keep digging into these. That's really cool, I should say. Thank you for joining me. I'll talk to you next week. Maybe I'll do the second half of this, or maybe I'll save the second half and do something else to split it up. If you have any thoughts, let me know, and I'll see you then. Have a good one.